Welcome back to Business Building Bridges.
Bloopers.
Baba, B3. Hello. We could do blurbs, right?
Going.
Okay. So this is a podcast where we highlight our bridge building between businesses in Palm Coast. So today, our very own Diane Campbell, we're going to dig deep in her story as her entrepreneur, her craftsmanship, creative mind behind the Bony Booty Beach Rentals and Tree Trends Woodworking. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for my co-host for having me here today, even though I beat you to it.
You did.
Okay.
Oh, so you just want me to dive in?
What would you like to know?
Okay, well, let's start with Jersey. And Jersey. So as the Jerseys go, it's what exit, right? That's how you communicate with each other.
Yeah, 105.
Okay, and for those who don't know, it's off the Jersey Turnpike.
No.
No?
Parkway.
The Parkway.
Parkway 105.
Oh, I thought it was a turnpike.
To be fair, I was born in Elizabeth.
Oh,
so
okay.
We'll start there.
Yes, please.
It was all of 3 years before my parents moved us out of Elizabeth. And we moved to 105 off the Parkway.
Okay.
Which, after being there recently, I realized it's kind of an hour to an hour and a half away from New York City. And, if I was to get into the head of my parents, that is probably a midpoint between that area and the city and that area and Point Pleasant, where my husband was born, and my great-grandparents on my father's side had a summer cottage. So he was familiar with the area, but that's midway.
So let's talk about that. Where did you meet the incredible Dan?
Well, we met, ironically, at the same place of employment. But we didn't know each other at that point. He was, he is a programmer, and he's a geek. So, he was working there. I knew of him. I passed him in the hallway, thought nothing of it, and still married. He was still married at that point to another person. And I was in the drafting department. So I was doing assembly drawings for computers, ironically.
Oh.
Nobody does that anymore. They don't draw by hand. So that's what I was doing. And I was complaining to one of the individual guys that, I was looking to date and there's no good people out there to date. He was complaining, ironically, to his wife, and she was doing a jewelry party, which he was at for his ex. And he was complaining to her that there's no one to date. And she said, how about Diane? And the other guy said, how about Dan? So I was like, okay.
Oh.
So that's how that worked.
And so who initiated this?
He did.
Did he
called
have you
me.
to dinner?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he called. He said, do you want to go out? I said, wait a minute. Aren't you married? And he said, well, yeah, I'm separated. I said, well, don't you have a kid? And because these were no's in my book, cross it off immediately. Yes, I have a kid. We're separated. I'm getting divorced. So our papers are filed. So I was like, oh, okay, let's go out. So we did. And I knew from the first date that was the person for me. Having a bonus child ended up being a real blessing for me personally, because our daughter, Erin, has been just a shining star. She taught me how to be a mother, pretty much. Even though I didn't want to be her mother, I was the stepmom.
Well, again, a friendship, is always created
bonus
first. And
she's definitely a bonus child.
I love that. And so how long have you been married?
37 years.
I have to say, for as little as I know Dan personally, I do see that you are like the apple in his eye. Like he just, after all these years, still just...
And it's likewise. I mean, we have a very deep connection and commitment to each other.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. It's always wonderful to have a
I like to brag
spouse.
about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and that's definitely, having a good marriage. I can count on one hand how many times we've had an issue or a fight.
Wow.
And it's always, recently it hasn't been ever. But it usually rolls around
with 3 daughters,
rearing children.
Okay.
It gets dramatic in the house.
Well, interesting.
Or has gotten dramatic.
Go a little deeper now, because now you're doing business together.
Yes, we are. So, and that is kind of, if I can go back to 1989, I had a woodworking business with two other ladies, church ladies. One was, she quilted and sewed, and the other one was doing canning. So we would invite all the church ladies over to the house. It was called Wood and Stuff. And so we would sell wooden stuff to people. I was the woodworker, and we'd bring little spice racks, little things here and there to the party. And folks would come in and, just buy stuff. It'd be a fun day.
I know you mentioned, I want to go back to the woodworking.
Yes.
So you said this started in high school.
Definitely.
What was that shining moment where you just said, I just love dealing with natural materials or building things? Where did that
I think
start?
it started in Catholic school, not being able to read a ruler, which I was a kinesthetic learner, I wanted to do things with my hands. I had a creative side to me in 9 years of Catholic school. I didn't get any of that. So when I got into high school, I was set free, and that to me allowed choices I had to make for home ec and wood shop. And I was like, do I really do this? There was a little trepidation there because I was the only girl in the class. But fortunate for me, the teacher kind of tucked me under his wing, and he showed me the ropes. And I said, you know what? I don't know how to read a ruler. So it was the love of working in wood that drove the incentive for me to be able to read a ruler and to do the things that it required, in measuring things.
Absolutely.
And that turned into drafting, of all things, so you take that learning style and you use it for good, and you don't get trapped in or stuck in a rut or driven to be academically oriented. You go where your talents and abilities lie.
I love
So it was a life-changing moment for me. And then from that, they had a co-op program in high school. So in junior and senior year, you could work in a woodworking environment. So I think the teacher had enough confidence in me to recommend me to an employer. And I used to ride my bike to work. It was called K&S Marine Woodcraft, just in the next town over. Rode my bike to work. We worked with teak and mahogany in marine woodcraft. So things that you would find on a boat.
Cool.
So it was cool. And I worked there for 3 years. Loved it.
So just to keep going, because apparently you say you have a combined experience in woodworking with Dan. And how many years is that? And can we just go a little into Dan and how he...
103 years.
There's no way. You're not that old.
I am that old, and collectively he's that old. But, 103 years combined. He grew up with a dad who they built their house from scratch. His dad and mom built the house. So he took him alongside all those different trades, the plumbing, the electrical. He's electrical, brilliant at electrical things, and building houses, framing and all that stuff, hanging sheetrock. Maybe not the fine stuff that I was doing, but, we kind of cross-pollinate each other. Now it's a little of both. So he has a very technical side and perfection. He loves that part.
I have to say, and how do we get tree trends if we want to place an order or see any kind of images of what you both have created?
Yeah, it's a great question. Tree Trends has been chasing the train since we opened, and that we're very grateful for that. The locals, businesses here have supported us. And first we felt, we'll get out there on an Etsy site, and then we get an order. Then we supply the order, satisfy that, and we get another order. And there's the Etsy thing takes time. You gotta build it, make it, photograph it, social media-ize it, and get it out there with images and videos. We haven't had the time to put it out there yet.
I do have to say that it's not just about creativity
Right.
of your design, because my design eye looks at extreme detail, and you exceed detail. I mean, with your little branding on some of these pieces and your creative ideas and the perfection of these pieces, you will not find, I mean, not you, but whoever your clients are will not find, I believe, one imperfection on anything that you would put out there, which blows my mind because I've seen a lot of work out there, and people are very successful at what they do. But when it comes to precision, beauty, technical, I mean, it is on point and mind blowing.
Well, thank you.
So kudos to the both of you on that.
You know, we have a saying, you know, you do what's right, even if it hurts. You know, if it hurts to redo it, and we have, that's why I have some samples. You know, You're not going to see the imperfections, but we know what they are. And in woodworking, you know, wood is a natural resource. So it has knots, it has cracks, it has the ability to warp. You know, just the temperature change, especially here in Florida, will do things to it that we're not necessarily fond of. So, you know, if that's the case and we have to sell it, we'll make it again. And, you know, it's just the way it is.
And that's, I think, where perfection comes into play here.
So do things right the first time. And if something happens, because it's the nature of wood, and you're selling it, you're getting, you know, you're transferring money in exchange for a product, we're going to do it again until it's right.
And I think when it comes to more than just support of people who know you and want to actually support your business, it's more about the perfection and the preciseness of what you're putting out there without you speaking about it, because your work speaks for itself.
Well, thank you. You know, I lose sleep at night not worrying, but making sure that we're creating a product that could become a family heirloom. And, you know, we don't want it to be second rate.
Right.
We want it to be first rate.
And that it is.
Thank you.
And so there's so much more. You could probably have 2 episodes on you. But there are a few things that I do know that I'd like to touch on, is that this, you said, will be your 3rd podcast.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I had a business in Georgia from Jersey. Those were our growing up years. When we got married, we moved to Georgia. No kids except for Aaron, who was 4 at the time. And so we moved to Georgia, and we selected Georgia as the last of 4 states because it had the technology we needed. It had the housing that we could afford. It had the change of seasons that we were still looking for as Jersey people. I love the fall. And it had health care that we were looking for. So those 4 things all came together, and it was like God rolled out the red carpet to Georgia. Dan was already employed before we even got here. He was doing contracting work for a credit bureau, and he stayed there for all of the years we were in Georgia. But when we moved there, that's where we raised our family. And 3 girls, you know, we moved right away after we got married, pretty much, and moved to Georgia. So it was fun living there. Great place to raise kids. North Georgia had beautiful fall seasons, but not too extreme. And so we were just living a really good life there.
So tell us about the first podcast.
The first podcast. Got that. Forgot your question.
Oh, it's okay.
Got wrapped up in my girls. So in 2009, I opened a business called Gratitude Goodies, and it's still in operation today. It was, and I had this little angel devil on my shoulders. You know, that's a inventory heavy business, right? But the angel said, yes, but people need to appreciate other businesses for doing that business. So the podcast was called Podcast for Business, ironically. So it was,
how ironic is it?
Yes, businesses helping business do business. Very similar to the model we're creating here at B3. And it was designed to we had 1,500 square feet of space, a warehouse space. We'd have customers or podcast guests come to the shop. And in my mind, they walked from the front door to my office in the back, saw everything we did, and was like, wow, they really do stuff here. So I would take someone like your business, sift and sort, and say, okay, Miss Shara, what do I need to know to organize my shelves better here at the shop? Or if there's a chiropractor, you know, I sit all day and I'm smiling and dialing on the phone, talking to people. What can I do to have better posture? Or do I need to get a better chair? Or what do I need to do to make this more comfortable? Mm-hmm. If you're talking to a pet sitter, you know, we all work for our families, right? You want to have fun. You want to go on vacation. So who's going to watch the dog? So as part of your business to my business, what do I need to know to take care of my pets so I can relax and have a stress-free vacation?
I love that because you want to keep all these businesses in your pockets.
Right.
Which is something I kind of realized today, which we'll get into in another episode.
I love being a connector. Mm-hmm. So connecting that was what the podcast was all about. Financial planner, great. You're planning your family's financial future. Maybe not a business-to-business relationship, but it's a B2C, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So I need to know through the financial planner how to do that. Where does my business come in with planning that? So we can collaborate that way.
And podcast number 2?
Podcast number 2 is Fly Girl Fish.
Ah.
Fly Girl Fish was, I got interested in fly fishing because we bought an RV. And the RV was designed for us to get away from the business, right? I'll pick up something. I want to go listen to the babbling brook. And while I'm standing there, why not throw a line in the water and do something? So, I joined a women's fly fishing organization, and I started to realize it's a very male-dominated field, and not a lot of women, well, they may be interested in it, but are they going to necessarily ask a guy? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I mean, that's a certain possibility, but we wanted to teach women how to fish, fly fish. So where do you get waders? They didn't even have waders for women. They didn't have boots for women. Mm. They didn't have even colors for women. They fit women differently. So I had a young lady, her name is Kim, who was on the podcast, and she started a business designing waders for women. Right now, it's doing really well.
Still in business?
They are still in business. Fly Girl Fish was shut down because there was an entity in Michigan that discovered us.
Oh.
But, it's okay. They cease and desist.
Okay.
There was nowhere near anything that we were talking about, but they felt threatened. Anyway, so that was part of that. And B3 is the third podcast.
Yeah, and so how convenient a third to
right.
B.
Third is I love talking about business. I love connecting people one to another, and I'm comfortable in this seat doing that sort of thing.
I love that. So there's so many topics. I don't even know because I don't even know how much time we still have. But I just want to touch on also because we did talk about Bony Booty's beach rentals.
Yes.
And I do just want to get quickly into, I know you touched on the story about your brother and him having a very bony booty. And that's where all that came from. But again, another successful business in Flagler County. And I know that you expand to St. Augustine a little. Is that?
Well, we did do a little dabbling in Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach. Okay. We haven't really done much in St. Augustine. That's a long drive for what we do, and there's other businesses up there that are serving their clients in that area.
So I know that there's a local nonprofit that's been in the community called the Privateers.
Seawolf.
The Seawolf.
Privateers.
Privateers,
yes.
And they are pirates. So I would like to know how you met and got involved with helping this organization and what they do.
Easy. Creekside was was an event that my brother and I chose to participate in. And I was going to rent the chairs in front of the grandstand so, people who are coming to listen to the music, which is constant there, can sit and rent the chair and enjoy the show. Across the way was this pirate booth, and I'm looking at them, and, pirates they get your attention.
That they do.
So I'm thinking, I was still in Jackson. No, I was actually in Georgia at the time. Still in Georgia, coming down to promote this event for my brother and I. And I ended up talking to him. I was like, you know what? If I want
Pirates to pirates.
Pirates to pirates. If I want to meet people, volunteering is the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
So it gets you involved. It gets you doing something positive for the community. And I loved that it was for children, foster kids in the area. And so, we just got connected, and we ended up doing pirate events. Dan, of course, in electronics, he was doing the sound and this sort of thing that we have here in the studio, microphones and a soundboard and all that stuff. So he was plugged in and I was plugged in. And so we used that as a stepping stone to get to know people in the community.
And can you tell us how long you've been involved with them and what their organization does?
Yes, we've been involved since 2021.
Okay.
And what they do is they're 501c3, they support the foster children here in Flagler County, which is well over 100 foster children, which is sad in and of itself.
Especially it's a 10% kind of our population.
Exactly, yes. So it's happy and sad at the same time that this even exists. Some of these children arrive at a foster family's house with just the shirt on their backs, pretty much, just the clothes they're wearing. There's no toiletries, there's no extra clothes, there's no bed, there's no nothing. Because, in family situations, I'm not privy to what that is, but that's how they enter the foster system, and we provide, through donations, the clothes, sometimes to get them over that, cribs, whatever the kid needs. The child needs to feel safe and secure as possible under that situation. We provide it.
So do they place these children in homes?
No.
What is their role as
Their role is a support system for the foster families. Hopefully we'll be able to have them on here on the podcast. But it's a very important thing. We do Easter baskets and we egg the lawn. We do Christmas things, there's cookies with Santa, and they also come alongside the biological children of these families. So we don't want to exclude the children, any children, foster kids and biological kids in that family. It's important that both feel that they're being loved and supported.
Do they work with the guardian ad litem?
I don't know that.
Okay, well, we'll have to find out.
We'll have to find that out.
Bring them on.
Yes.
That's so amazing. And so what is your role?
My role used to be registration and admin. Dan does the sound, of course. But I like to plug in wherever. I've done registration. I've done a booth. I've done, schlepping food, whatever it requires.
And I know that this is probably after the fact, but they do have events, fundraisers.
Definitely.
Okay. And those are murder mysteries?
They have murder mysteries. They'll have one next weekend. I think it's the 7th and 8th.
And so they do it twice a year?
They do it twice a year.
Okay.
It sells out every year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And it's purely fundraising. They keep the funds going to the children. As much as they can goes back to the kids.
Wow. That's so awesome.
When we do touch a truck, where the ship is there, we do the parades.
They bring out a tremendous ship.
It's on a float.
They go on them, or is it just for show?
It's they can go on them. It's created on top of a trailer float, and it's I worked on that ship too, painting and doing whatever. But the kids can go on there, and they actually have, I think they have iPads now on stations on there. They're very advanced as far as what they can do with the kids, and there are pirates there. You know, when you're talking to a pirate, you've kind of bridged, here we go with the bridge theme. You've bridged over, you know, this is a stranger. They see pirates on TV or in cartoons or even at theme parks or whatever, and they're enamored with the pirates.
Absolutely, because it's just all, you know, it's costume. I want to say Halloween all year round.
Yeah.
But it's such an amazing organization, and we hope to have someone from that nonprofit
We will.
on. Wonderful. We'll plan that. And I know that there were so many other things that I wanted to talk about, especially your basket business, since I love me some baskets, but I think we'll have to save that for another episode. But this has been amazing to dive in to Diane a little bit more while she's trying to catch her train.
Yeah, catch the train.
As more, what do they call those? What's the term for the train pieces? Help me.
Oh,
when you keep tacking on the I want to say trailer, but it's not.
It's a hook.
Okay.
A hook.
Just keep adding more
Connection.
hooks. Yeah, there's a word, and I can't think. It doesn't even matter at this point.
I'm
I'm
we
sure
understand.
somebody as they're listening will be like, it's this.
Add a car to the train.
Add a car.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, connecting car.
Connecting cars. Well, there goes
Are we done?
To see?
I was nervous about that.
I know, and there was nothing to be nervous about. So here we are, another episode of B3, Businesses Building Bridges, with Shara and Diane.
Yes, you know a little bit about me. Now we're going to dig into someone else that is equally important for this show.
Thank you all for joining. See you next time.
All right.